It's going, it's grand. What a call by our boy Kevin Brown on the mic. And here with Nathan, the Full Count Chaos. Nathan, I know you personally tweeted that you injured yourself watching that Jeremiah Jackson Grand Salami. Thanks for joining us, man. And are you fully recovered? I know we're getting a little bit older,
I
so
am a
it's
little bit
harder
of
for us to
ice,
recover.
a little bit of ice, a little bit of relaxing, trying to stay off my feet. But I don't think I've jumped out of my seat that fast. It's been a long time. 2025 season. It was a slow season, boring season. So it's been a long time since I jumped out of my seat like that. And then you get the Pete Alonso home run right after that. And I'm just like laying on the floor after the game. My wife's looking at me like, are you going to be okay? I'm just going to sleep here tonight on the living room floor. I'll see you tomorrow. But yeah, that was a hell of a game last night.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we get the reports that Craig Albernaz has 7 broken bones. That makes both of us feel good. We're hurt celebrating
Is that what it
celebrating
was?
a
Is that
grand
what it
slam.
wound up being? It was, broken bones.
Yeah, I think he said 7 broken bones in the cheek and a broken jaw. He has to eat nothing but
Shit.
like baby food for like 6 months. Yeah,
Oh,
luckily it doesn't have to be wired shut. But yeah, what a game that is. That's
I've
crazy.
had a
So
busy day. I haven't had my hour and a half of catching up on updated news with the Orioles, but I figured there had to be some sort of, because you don't get hit by a baseball like that and just walk away and be like, I'm okay. Like you knew
yeah,
there was going to be some injuries there. And then he comes back out, gives Jeremiah Jackson a hug after the grand slam. Like, what a crazy night that was to be an Orioles fan. I know it's in April, but I think we're all excited right now because we know what 2025 Orioles this time of year in April look like. And I think we're starting to see signs, especially everything that they're battling. That was just a win that needed to happen. Again, I know it's April. You can't win the division in April, but you can sure lose it. So I'm glad we're seeing games like this right now.
yeah. And before we get into it, why don't you promote your stuff? Let everybody know where they can find you. Belly up, your pod, all that stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Belly Up Network, check them out. Also, just Full Count Chaos anywhere, X podcast. People always say, check me out on Spotify or Apple. Just Google Full Count Chaos. It's all there. You'll see it. You can get a hold of me, Instagram, Full Count Chaos, all of that. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I appreciate you having me on. After last night, it's like, yeah, I'm ready to talk O's.
Yeah. And belly up, if you're listening, if you need a college football, baseball betting person, I'm your man. But I digress on that. But
Oh,
you
okay.
brought up a good point. You brought up a good point. We'll transition kind of right into that because yeah, we all remember. I mean, this team dug itself a hole at being 17 games under 500 at one point to where they couldn't dig their way out. And I had a person on last week who was talking about kind of the Red Sox woes, and it's like eventually when you're 7, 8 games down, it's not too early because you got to go on an 8 game win streak to get up to 500. Then you got to keep maintaining that. So all these wins matter. 162 games, they all
Yeah.
matter. So
And I
think that
think
was
that's one of my pet peeves is when people say, chill out, it's early. Like, I get it, 2 games into the season, you can't have a panic attack. I get it. But, you're getting through April, coming up on May, and people are saying it's too early. Relax. It's not. You can
right.
blow it. I mean, we saw it last season. So, yeah, that's one of my big pet peeves of people yelling, it's early, relax.
Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing a team like the Astros are pretty much out of their division now. You know what I mean? And we're seeing a lot of stuff come up there. And we know this team last year, like to your point, would have lost this game. This would have been, you could turn it off, bank it,
100%.
check your score. It's probably 11-1. We have a position player pitching in the 9th inning. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And we had the exact
1,000%.
opposite happen. So first time
And it was
since I
cool to
believe
see like Pete Alonso. I mean, these are just, kids playing a kids game. I mean, you saw the highlights of Pete Alonso getting excited in the dugout and they're all jumping around like a bunch of kids. I mean, it just, they needed this so bad and the fans needed that win so bad. What a great night. So yeah. And then of course tonight, the way I am with my negative Nate syndrome, I'm like, well, this just means they're not going to get a hit for the next 2 nights.
Yeah. Well, this hat right here is undefeated. I bought it on Saturday. So
nice.
I'm 3-0 in it. So
Don't
the
go to
Orioles,
sleep with it, wake up with it, get in the shower with it. Yeah, don't take it off.
Well, the Orioles currently sit at 9-7, tied for first with the Yankees after that crazy game. So, Nathan, a far cry from where we were after the Pirates 3-game sweep when everybody said the sky was falling. We're going to get into some individual players here, but just, I guess, overall thoughts on what you saw in this first kind of like almost 3 or 4 weeks here and kind of the ebbs and flows. Just maybe one big takeaway from this team from what you saw.
I just think they are a different team than 2025. I think the Pete Alonso, I know everybody's saying, oh, we have a veteran coming on the team now. I think Gunnar Henderson's starting to take that role now. He's stepping up. There's just like that veteran vibe. And I just think they're a different team. That, again, I mean, I know we keep saying it, but last year at this time, they didn't win that game. They probably would have wound up losing 11-1 by the end of the game. You know what I mean? So that's just a small sign, sweeping the White Sox. That's what you do to bad teams. Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh Pirates, I don't know. Again, the Orioles are 1-8 going back the past 10 years, going in Pittsburgh to play the Pirates. Yeah. I don't know if that what that means. It's just sports, but I don't know how the Pirates are going to be by the end of the season. Weird things happen in sports, but seeing them sweep the White Sox, seeing them take care of business last night, seeing them 9-7, seeing them tied with the Yankees, like we're seeing little signs here and there that, yeah, it's a different team, and wait until they start gelling. And again, the injuries, I don't know what to say about that, but right now I'm trying to stay in that happy mode. Yeah, it's a different team, man. It's a different team.
Yeah, and we'll get into kind of the Elias era as a whole down the road, but I've been kind of defending the guy, and I'm not an Elias apologist, but people coming in saying this team didn't do enough, just case in point is the starting rotation. Look at who we trotted out last year in the first opening day. I mean, you had Zach Eflin, you had Tommy Sugar, you had Charlie Morton, you had Dean Kramer. Now you're coming out with like Rogers, Bradish, Bassett. You can kind of bring it now. You can supplement a Povich. You don't need him as your 4 or your 5 or whoever. You could just bring him in for some spot starts. So that alone was the biggest takeaway for me, where this team is always going to be in games. When you're facing the Yankees and you're facing the Red Sox, that top 3, how is our top 3 not going to be able to compete with any other top 3 in there? You know what I mean? And that was the biggest takeaway to me, for people to say that this team didn't improve year over year and it was just going to be like 2025 was just absolute blasphemy. And to your point, that sweep of the White Sox showed me more than kind of anything this season. It's like you turn around in cold, crappy conditions. You got a guy who struck out 8 batters and he walked 6 and struck out 8. You didn't have a hit for like 5 innings. You won that game. You came back, you won another game on a late Gunnar homer. And it's like, to get that sweep against the White Sox, you just swept the defending American League champions, the Blue Jays, right before that. So that was a kind of, we talk about turning points, and that was a series I think that made me say, okay, this team isn't going to be like it is last year. Well,
that was a concern. Everybody was pointing at the schedule going, oh, thank God we have the White Sox. I'm going, the White Sox right now are going, thank God we have the Orioles.
Right.
Like the way that both teams were playing, it was the other way around. So that I think the Orioles, they got pissed off. They probably had some sort of, team meeting after that sweep, and they got their stuff together, and here they are. So I'm just impressed with what I've seen in the past week compared to the week before. It's like 2 different teams, but this is who we were expecting to see.
So before, we always send our guests a rundown and everything. So I sent Nathan a rundown of like, hey, we're going to get into a segment of how worried are you about this player on a scale of 1 to 10. And I did have the polar bear on there, and I still want to lead off with him because while that moment was awesome and he had the big double, he has 1 home run and was like 3 for 39 in April prior to the last 2 games. Obviously, maybe he's heating up. It was a pitcher that he had owned in his career.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not worried at all, 10 being extremely worried, I think I know where you're going to land. But where are you with the polar bear as far as, I guess, the expectations that we had for him coming into the season?
Well, the worry I'm like, they're 3 and 4. I don't know, maybe even 2, probably. I don't know. It's as I'm sitting here, I'm like 1, probably -5. It's funny because April was always Pete's big month, which was ironic. But again, this is the first time that Pete's come into a new city, new fans, new contract, new money, new managers, new guys around him. It's a lot. And people just think, oh, he's good. He's coming into a city. He'll be fine. You put a lot of pressure on yourself. You're starting a new job with a new company, if you use that kind of example. And hey, we're willing to pay you a crap ton of money. He just had a little bit of pressure, and seeing him hit the double down the line and the other night, and then or maybe that was last night, and then the home run. I don't know. Maybe he's starting to come out of it, but 0. Actually, now that I'm saying this out loud, I don't have any concern. If this is going on in late May, June, different conversation. But mid-April, after seeing Pete starting to hit some bombs, no, not concerned.
The only thing that had me at more than a 0, I'm kinda like a 1, 1.5 with you, is the fact that regardless of how many hits he got, he was always known for getting guys in with runners in scoring position and just the strikeouts with the runners in scoring position when we needed him. Now, to your point, that's probably a little bit of pressing, and they did say a little bit slower bat speed, but I believe his hard hit ratio was somewhere like highest in his career or something like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I'm kind of right there with you, and it's been
Yeah, the
great to
slow
see
bat
last
speed
2 years.
was an interesting conversation to have. Because again, you see that, and then you see the little slump, and then you hear he's never started a season without hitting a home run before after the fourth game. So of course, yeah, fans are starting to go, but again, it's all good. Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
walking. He's not. It's not like he's
Right.
chasing and waving at pitches just completely out of the zone. He's getting on base. It's
Right.
just people wanted him to have 20 bombs by now. You know what I mean? It's like he'll be okay.
Right. And now here's another guy that I think is very, very interesting. And I think this person actually makes the lineup go from a good lineup to the best in baseball, and that's our boy Samuel Basayo, who just hit an absolute tank on Sunday off of the 2-run shot opposite field. Still hitting less than 200, I believe. Doesn't really have the track record of Pete Alonso for us to be like, hey, we know he's going to be good. He might not be. So scale 1 to 10, I guess. How worried are you about him, and does it change the fact that he doesn't have really any track record for you to base anything off of?
No, again, another guy that I'm not worried about. The guy, dude, he's gonna be a guy who's gonna eventually wind up hitting like 45 bombs on a seat. Like the kid is strong. You see the power. Right now, yeah, he's chasing a few pitches. He's a little excited. When these young guys when they hit those bombs and they're like, "Whoa, I'm a strong kid. I can take these pitches 430 feet." They get excited. They think every pitch they see if they swing. So I'm sure he'll calm down from that. But the kid is just going to get stronger, smarter. I mean, come on, 0 on him as well. We want to talk maybe even if he has a bad season and then next year he has another. Yeah, we can have a big conversation. But for right now, 0 concern. If you want to talk defense, it's something. I mean, the kid, he's got a strong arm. He's got a really strong arm. Now, with his mental farts and his defense, that'll come around. So, yeah, I don't have any worry about Paseo. I don't know if you disagree with that, but I love that kid. I'm so happy to
Yeah.
see what he's going to bring to this team. I'm so excited.
The only worry that I would have is it's like we know all these guys aren't going to pan out, right? And we're starting to see that with the Cowsers and the Mayos. It's like you just hope he does, and
Right.
we're investing a lot in him. He shows the tools to do that, but there's been a lot of 5 tool players coming up where it's like, how's this person going to miss? And they miss, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not overly worried about it. I would like to see him have a good year this year for me to not be like, okay, let's come in and like wonder how he's going to be next year and where his confidence is. Plus, I don't love the fact that he's catching every day. I would prefer him to have gotten some time at first
Well,
in or
yeah, that
DH more, but he kind of has to right now.
yeah, right,
Yes.
right, right. But I mean,
So
hey, in the long run, I mean, look, if the Orioles are going to keep winning, and in the meantime, Basayo can get his reps in, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
yeah,
he's not back there right now where every other pitch we're just, shaking our head, being like, get him out of there. There's nothing I'm seeing right now of that guy where I'm like, oh my God, we're in trouble with this kid. So again, it's just too soon, too young. I don't see anything yet. Yes, there was a brain fart the other day with them. It happens, but
right.
yeah, I'm excited to see where this kid's gonna go. But you're right;
and
they don't always work out, and it's not always going to. It's just that's sports. Ain't gonna happen
and
that way.
yeah, and here's one that I find very, very interesting because people were ready to call him Charlie Morton 2.0. But even up last year, he was pitching the World Series out of the bullpen, and he was an absolute dog. And his track record, if you look at all of his numbers, Chris Bassett, I mean, we don't need the
Oh
guy
yeah,
to be your number 1 or 2 starter. I thought he looked much better in his last start. I thought he got a lot of bad luck with the error on the throw, all that type of stuff. He should have probably gotten the win and given up 1 or 2 less earned runs, but any concern level for
did
Battis
you say
or
Charlie Morton 2.0? By the way, I think I missed
that
that.
yeah, that's what people were calling him after his first 2 starts.
No,
So that
right. I
level
didn't
of
know if
concern
that's
would have
what
been
you
a
were
10.
labeling him as
Yes.
well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Bassett. I'm not going to sit here and be like 0 worry. I'm not worried. Like it's been a struggle with him. I mean, his last outing, like you said, sure, yeah, okay, but he showed some signs that he might figure it out. But before then, yeah, it was again, it's just early in the season. You know, I mean, it's preseason for a lot of these guys. So, if we see a couple more leading into May, mid-May, yeah, we can start having that Charlie Morton 2.0 conversation. But for right now, I think again, the month of April is always tough to talk baseball. I always say in the podcast, it's a hard week because it's like you don't want to sound like you're being dramatic. You don't want to sound like you're panicking too soon. So it's like talking baseball in April. It's tough. It really
Yeah.
is because it's like you're trying to judge what you're seeing, and it's like, oh, shut up, you're just panicking. Be quiet. So yeah, it's tough. A lot of this that we're talking about, it's just from what we're seeing so far. And for Bassett, sure, there's a little concern. Yeah.
Well, the O's were 0-10 in the first 10 games that Charlie Morton appeared last year, and we got the win on Saturday in the game that Bassett started. So he obviously can't
I
be Charlie
forgot it was
Morton
that.
2.0 there. But yeah, that was disgusting and awful last year. So
Oh,
yeah,
I
just
forgot it
let
was
the
that bad. I always knew it was that bad. Maybe I
yeah
just blacked it out. It's like, when
yeah
you have a terrible moment in childhood and you
yeah
black it out. I probably
yeah
did that with Charlie Morton.
yeah.
Oh,
After the first four, we're like whatever, yeah.
oh yeah. That was painful.
So I had another one on the list, but I think we both don't have much concern for him, so I'll kind of shift off that. I had Kyle Bradish on there, and I think we'll see him rebound. I
Oh,
mean,
I
he's
think
got
they
enough of
should
a
they
track
should
record
cut
on
ties with him. He needs to go. No, I'm kidding. No concern. I mean, look, anytime someone comes from Tommy John, these are the kind of outings you're going to see. I mean, it's tough. I know everybody wants him to just come back to Superman the way he was, but
and
no concern. I think we agree on
and
that.
and Nathan, now here's one. I know we're kind of just starting to connect here, and I've done a couple of these things with some other people. Shout out to our DD and a couple of the other guys
Yeah.
on there. I've been a proponent of kind of trading Adley Rutschman, and it doesn't mean that I don't like him as a person, and I'm a big vibes guy, but he's
Mhm.
not producing. He's getting hurt. He's 28 or 29. Like his better days, like he looked like he was coming back, and then he gets hurt again, right? So how many times can we just keep doing this, right? Where we're like, oh well, he'll come back healthy and he'll come back, and next thing you know, he's 30 and in an arbitration year, and you can't deal him at all. So kind of
Ah,
now where he's hurt, maybe not, but if he comes back and rakes, like with you, Basayo signed up long term. Are you a proponent of if you get a good deal for Adley, you got to ship him before you can't trade him at all?
yes, and I'll tell you, I'm not, and I say this. There's two things. One, I say yes because I don't think there's any player where I'm on my hands and knees begging, don't ever get rid of. Like if it's a good trade, let's do it. And if it'll help the team, let's do it. So I'm not sitting here going, no, oh my god, no. I think there's a lot of people out there because when we drafted, he was the first guy we drafted with this whole rebuild. Like people
Yep.
think of Adley as like the godfather of the Orioles. Like, no. We can't talk bad about this guy.
Right.
Sure, we can. We can
Right.
talk bad about anyone we want. So yes, I'm all for that. Yeah. I think when we were emailing or talking, I think one of the questions was is or maybe you even said it here. I just missed it. The conversation is Adley a bust?
Right.
That's a tough one that's being tossed around. I know that's fun to talk about. It's fun to say. Is he a bust? Yeah, I think he's a bust. I don't want to sit here and say Adley's a bust. It's not like every year he's batting 187. He can't get on base. He stinks at catching. We're just talking injuries. You're going to push the
Right.
injuries aside. His numbers isn't bad. Remember, he put on one of the, like even talking about it now, it's going to give me goosebumps. And that home run derby, when he switched, you know what I mean, from right to left. I mean, that was one of the greatest moments in home run derby. And yes, he had a 2024 and a 2025, but I don't think he's a bust. But can we talk about trading him? Absolutely. I mean, of course. Yeah. I'm
Right.
all for it. I don't think he's a player that, they need to do what they can do to keep him. And also at the same time, is he a concern? Yes. Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. And you kind of like it's like you have listened to previous stuff that I said because I brought up the same point about the being drafted 1-1. If he was drafted 120, no one would be fighting for him the way they do. But like you said, yeah, just because he was the first pick, he's untouchable. He is absolutely not untouchable. And the main concerns for me are his age. That's what happens when you draft a college hitter and they have a couple years in the majors. They're coming into the league at 25, 26. Year 4 or 5, they're almost 30. Right? You saw with Aaron Judge. I mean, Judge is 35 or 36 now, and he came in the league I think at 29 or 30, somewhere around there, maybe 28. So that for a
Yeah.
catcher is bad, and that makes it harder to trade him the older and older he gets. Plus, he's a Boris client, so he's testing free agency as well too.
Sure.
So I think if he
100%.
comes
Yeah.
if he comes back and rakes, and maybe they don't want to do it because we get to a World Series this year with him. Trade him in the offseason. So it's something that we kind of really, really need to consider here. So
I
to go
agree.
back to
Yeah.
to go back to guys that we were talking about, maybe struggling, but let's obviously Gunnar Henderson. We could talk about him till we're blue in the face. I think he's both of our
Who?
MVPs, but Gunnar
No,
Henderson. I have a guy who
I'm
is,
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
maybe you could give me a guy, and then I'll give you my guy here, who I think has been the Orioles MVP so far, and that is our boy Rico Suave Garcia. Um, Untouchable, man. I mean, he's got a few walks in his first save appearance when he came in the ninth inning, but other than
Love
that, I
that
believe
guy.
it's been, 7 innings pitched, 26 batters faced, no hits given up, no earned runs, and I mean, we'll talk more about Elias, but that's a guy that he found off the scrap heap, and I
Got
think
to give
he's
Elias
been.
props, man. Love that guy. Dude, when he came out last year at Boston, bases loaded, no
Yep,
outs. That's all I got to say. You know what game I'm talking about.
absolutely.
I mean, ever since then, it's just like, come on. Yeah, no, I agree. That's a great one. I mean, the other one I get, Helsley. If the guy
Yep.
comes out, he's shutting the door. If he continues to shut the door like he is, throwing 100 down the pipe, just going toe to toe with these batters. God dang, I just there's nothing better than watching a closer come out and being like, I'm just gonna throw you everything I got. Good luck. And he just throws
Yep.
101 down the plate and they miss it in the games. I love that. But yeah, Helsley's on my list.
Well, if you remember 2014, 2015, I believe it was Herrera, Davis, and Holland for the Royals, who we saw obviously shut us down in the playoffs, but
Cool.
that propelled them to two straight World Series. And, the win in there, the 7th, 8th, 9 guys that were untouchable. I don't know if we're necessarily there yet because they all threw gas. But if you get Kittredge back and then he comes back and he's effective, Nunez, Garcia, Kittredge,
Even Cano.
Helsley.
Let's give
Yeah,
Cano some credit,
right.
Yeah.
Like it's a much more formidable bullpen, and that'll go into kind of our Elias discussion a little bit later. So doing a little foreshadowing there, but yeah, great call on Helsley there, and for what they got him for the deal compared to the rest of the closers, you're hearing Edwin Diaz is losing velocity and he's making
Yeah.
40 million a year or whatever it
Yeah.
is. So it's like I think they got
Sure.
him for 2 years basically with an option for 14 mil a year. So
Yeah.
looking good so far. One piece I want to touch on too, and it's I kind of mentioned earlier I'm a vibes guy, but I'm not. Like my big miss was that we didn't sign Framber, and everyone said, "Hey, Framber, it's because he's an asshole." I'm like, I don't care if Colton Cowser is funny and they're doing that chill show. If you can't get on base, I don't care about vibes, right? So a guy like Cowser, to me, it's like we what does he bring that Leody Taveras or that Bradfield can't bring to you? Like, do you think we see Bradfield sooner rather than later if Cowser continues to struggle, or is this a horse that Elias is just dying on and we're going to ride him until he absolutely sucks and we have to send him to AAA, or he falls
Yeah,
in
it's
a
a tough
pothole
one.
and gets hurt?
Yeah. The old pothole.
Yeah,
That is a tough. I mean, we might see Bradfield sooner because of injury. So
right.
Lord only knows what the hell's going. I mean, we might see him next week with the way this stuff's going. Um, Tavares is holding it down, man. I love watching that guy play baseball right now. Is that going to continue? Who knows? But whew, Bradfield, yeah, I think we'll see Bradfield this season. Sooner than later, maybe. With the situation, man, it's just really odd with Cowser not being able to hit those secondary pitches. I mean, it's a huge concern. I don't know if you're just talking defense right now, but I'm
Both.
just,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, Cowser's defense. Yeah, okay. I mean, sure. There's nothing right now that you can say pertaining to Cowser that you're like, here's why we have to hold on to him is because of this.
correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So to have the conversation of what we do with I don't know. A lot of people were having discussion of that's who might go down when Jackson comes back because look at these guys right now. It's like, what are you gonna do? I don't know. Is it gonna be Kobe and then Blaze goes to third? But Colton, I don't know. He's getting real old to talk about. You
well,
know what I mean?
I think one thing too that I think could make Bradfield come up here sooner rather than later is if you look at a guy like Chandler Simpson, who is just absolutely killing it for the Rays. Someone brought up a good point there. Like, he creates chaos, whether he's
Yes.
hitting 275 or not. Like, you got to bring the infield in. He could bunt it by you. He could slap by you. When he's on, it's a double or triple. Cowser, you throw him an off speed pitch or striking him out. Bradish, you don't know that. Or Bradfield, you don't know that. Like, plus his defense in there, it's like that is such an element that this team doesn't have. We have sluggers. We have guys that are built in a certain mold. You need something like that, and that could make this offense completely dynamic. Now,
And
I
his
don't know if
defense. He's
Bradfield's
got a
going to
great
hit.
glove
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
exactly. I don't know if he's going to hit enough to justify kind of starting him every day if you're in a playoff run, but you can't really start Cowser every day in a
I was
playoff
gonna
run
say,
either.
I mean, the other argument
Yeah,
is, well, yeah, right. Right. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, there's already highlights that are trending, getting passed around on social media of Bradfield running the bases and bunting, and he's bunting down the first base line. I mean, it's just he's so fast. And when you
right.
get a guy like that on the bases, that screws with a pitcher. You just start messing with him and he can't focus, and he starts wanting to, get his release faster than normal. And that, he's going to start walking people. So having a guy like Bradfield, absolutely. Does he play every day? Yeah, I don't know that.
Well, imagine him batting ninth and then flipping that lineup over to Gunner, and you have a distracted pitcher on there facing Gunner, Ward, Alonso.
Oh,
With a guy
100%.
on who's kind of
Oh,
wreaking
yeah.
havoc in there. It's like, it's it's amazing. So we'll kind of break down tonight's game, but first I want to kind of talk about the Mike Elias era here, and kind of get your thoughts on it. So just we hear a lot of he's a lightning rod, right? We hear terrible GM, right? And the goal for every team is to win the World Series, right? And I don't think people here who are maybe some younger O's fans realize how bad they were when he took over, right? And like you said, Adley being 1-1 kind of started this whole young core thing. And, 2 years of 101 wins and the AL East title, 91 wins, and then a year where everyone was hurt. Like basically, when the young core has been up, this team has been in the playoffs essentially when they've all been up and together. So
Mhm.
I guess your thoughts on the era, on the Elias era. My whole big takeaway is, you know, what the guy's done well is he finds guys off the scrap heap. Like I have fan graphs up right now, and I'm going to go over some of the guys here on our roster and where we found them from. And I mean, you'll see it's crazy here. So, okay, so let's just go over the bullpen here. So, Rico Garcia claimed off waivers from the Mets. Tyler Wells claimed off the Rule 5 draft. Cano traded. That was in the Jorge Lopez deal. He
Mhm.
was a
Yep. Yeah.
nobody.
Yeah.
Grant Wolfram traded from the Brewers. Yeah, Anthony Nunez and the Mullins deal. Albert Suarez, free agent from the KBO. That is your entire bullpen that has been an amazing bullpen so far. None of those guys are anybody who anyone knew of, right? And then
Yeah.
you look at Kyle Bradish in the Dylan Bundy deal. Okay, Shane Baz. We don't know how the guys that we trade for him are going to be, but I guarantee you all four of those prospects aren't going to pan out. You know, and then and then you have Trevor Rogers, who you traded basically just Kyle Stowers for straight up, and Norby's been kind of a wash on that. So he's
Yeah.
obviously had some misses, but people can't look at these trades that he's made and some of these other acquisitions and not be impressed. I mean, these are people that are contributing for a first place baseball team right now. So
He's
just I guess some
definitely
of your
made up.
thoughts.
Yeah, he's look, in the beginning, it's funny on my podcast, people are starting to like reach out and be like, who are you? Like, what are you doing? Like, did Michael, did he threaten you? Is he threatening your family? Like, what is that? Like, no, like, look, in the beginning, I think it'll go back to the silly stuff like, Craig Kimbrell, people see Jack Flaherty, Morton,
Right.
Mike Yastrzemski, I always mispronounce his last name, Yastrzemski. I mean, you can even go back to that. Eloy Jimenez with the white. Yes, he crapped the bed. There was a lot of bad moves. And was he aggressive in like the offseason 03? I mean, 23, 24? No. So, yes. But lately, I mean, you want to look at the glass half full? Yes. You can do the Gunnar Henderson, Westberg, Graham Basayo, everything you just talked about. Kyle Bradish, the trade with Dylan Bundy and Cano, again, that Jorge Lopez. So, yes, Corbin Burns, Pete Alonso, Jeremiah Jackson, free agent. I mean, he basically, it's almost like he had a meeting with HR department. They're like, we're going to give you one more chance. Okay. And
Yeah.
if you screw this up, you're out of here. Yeah, okay. And I also love it that the owner, oh my God, what's his name?
Rubenstein.
Thank you, Rubenstein. I kept wanting to say Charlie Rubenstein. Have Charlie Morton on the mind now. I'm a PTSD. I got to go back to therapy 4 times a week now. But I love when he came out and was like, whatever money he wants, you take. My money's here. So I think he kind of, in a way, I talked about this a few months ago, that I think he put Elias on the spot to say, I'm willing to pay whatever it takes to win. My money is out for grabs. You take it. And so in a polite way, he's kind of going, all right, Elias, do your stuff, do your work, and look at him go.
So yeah, and you bring up a couple of really good points there, and then there's a couple kind of counterpoints to that. It's like just at the very beginning of the tenure, there were three things that the Orioles didn't have: major league talent, minor league talent, any international stuff, and we had no money to sign anybody. So what
Top to
was he
bottom, it was a
supposed to do?
mess. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was he supposed to do there? So it's like you're starting guys like Rio Ruiz at second, Pat the Bat Maleka, I mean, it's like Renato Nunez was your power bat, I mean, it's like
Hearing these
these
names
guys
just
suck.
make me nauseous, you know? Oh
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. So it's like, and
No,
you
I
have no
get it,
money to
yeah.
spend. So it's like once you kind of drafted your guys, got them up, got them in, you know, you're starting to see the success. Now, I don't think these guys are as good as they showed in 23. Kowser is a perfect example of that. Mayo, I think, will end up, but he's then built up a farm system to the point where it's like you just traded guys and you got a guy like a Boston Bateman, who was the number 2 pitching prospect, one of the top 5 pitching prospects in baseball. You loaded up your farm system. You got traded Mullins for a guy like a Nunez, right? And then you have some arms that are coming up, and now you have a Povich and a Young in there that you don't have to start, right?
Yeah.
Because you've augmented your roster. So it's been people look too much like, oh, they have more 100 loss seasons. Well, they were supposed to lose 100 games that year. I don't know if there's a GM that could have came in that would have had the Orioles around
Right, right.
500 in those few years. Last year, we saw a bunch of injuries. I think this year, if they don't come up, if they don't win a playoff series, and that's also been kind of the knock on it, it's like they haven't won in the playoffs. But are you going to bench Gunnar Adler? Are you going to bench the whole young core because they struggled in the playoffs 2 years in a row? No, you're
Right,
not trading
right.
all of them,
No.
right? So it's you try to
Yeah, no, I
augment
get
with,
you make excellent points, by the way. I mean,
yeah,
hats off to you on those. Yeah, I mean, we could just go back and forth. Not you and I, just anybody talking about Elias. I just think the main thing was when it was 2023, 2024,
right.
2025, those off seasons and those all-star breaks.
They were bad.
They were
Yeah.
bad.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of fans looked at it that way and said, "Oh, bad, Elias, bad, Mike,
Right.
bad, oh, bad." So that's what I mean. Like glass half full, glass half empty. What do you want to talk
Right.
about
Right.
here about
Right.
Mike? But yeah, lately, hats off to you, Mike. And that's what I was giving him props lately, and some last season. That's why people are like, "Wait, who are you?" Because 2024, I was, I had episodes that were called, Mike Elias, screw you. So whatever. But no, you make excellent points, and yeah, I'm not mad at him anymore. I think I think he's redeemed himself.
We'll see. I think this trade deadline is going to be a big one too. Where the Orioles are, where we all expect this team to contend. I mean, I know you're not a betting guy, but their over/under win total was 85.5 wins, right? A lot of
Yeah.
people projected them to be in the playoffs. We're expecting them to win around 90 games. I believe you and I are. I actually put money on them to win the American League East because, like we said, top to bottom bullpen
Yeah.
lineup, they can compete with anybody in there. So if we don't get a playoff series here, then you got to kind of change the way that you approach things, right? But there's also a point
100%.
where it's like the best player in baseball, Aaron Judge, has been awful his whole career in the postseason. So is he
So
not a good
weird.
player who they're supposed to keep on your team? You know what I mean? It makes it kind of a double-edged sword there, but it's
Yeah, I guess you
it,
want a guy on your team who can kill it for 5 months, get you where you need to be, and then all right, we'll just take it, see where you go when we get there. And
right,
it
right.
hasn't worked out. So I don't know. That's an interesting conversation to have.
All right, so we'll go. We'll kind of wrap it up here, but we'll go thoughts for the game tonight. Obviously, we have Trevor Rogers on the bump against Merrill Kelly coming off the injured list, and I mean the Diamondbacks got some dudes. I mean, we saw Kettle Marte, Perdomo, and Corbin Carroll. I believe they said last night all 3 of them finished top 5 in the MVP voting in the last couple of years. Just an insane top of lineup. Nolan Arenado found the fountain of youth there. Obviously, Rogers, we believe, will shut them down. But just thoughts on tonight's game. And then the Orioles going forward, what are your projections for this team for the rest of the year?
Well, for tonight, like I said, for tonight's game, anytime you see a game like last night, again, I'm not just negative Nate. It always seems like 4 hits, no runs. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. This is going to be interesting. Look, if they come out after last night and they win again tonight, I just think that is a huge sign of just watch out. Um, Lost my train of thought, but it's funny because I got invited on a podcast about a couple weeks ago, and it was people who did a podcast with Tampa Bay, Boston, New York,
Oh, nice. Okay.
Toronto, and it was all of us. It was like like almost like a CNN looking room where we're all debating stuff. But it was funny at the end, everybody, when you had to went around the room, who's going to be the most dangerous offense, they all picked the Orioles. They all said the Orioles are the most dangerous. So it's not like we're just drinking orange Kool-Aid here. People are seeing what we're talking about right now, and we're seeing and we're seeing signs like last night. So tonight's game, if they win, I gotta say they are a completely different team because if you can get that momentum from last night into tonight, not only that, but win it, and not have it's almost like a Super Bowl hangover. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
holy hell when you see a game like that. It's like it's like a hangover. But if they can win tonight, I'll be a giddy little kid jumping out of the chair again. I don't know. I haven't even looked at. I got to look at the lineup. Like I'm so far.
It's out. It's out. I got it.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
Let me see and then I mean, here. Yeah, and then to your point too, it's like so we actually face a left-handed pitcher for the first time all season. I believe it'll be game 18 or 19 of the year, the first with Eduardo Rodriguez, the former Oriole Erod, who I believe has like a sub-1 ERA. So that is the game where I think, okay, if you want to win this series, you got to beat Merrill Kelly, who's been good, or you got to beat Rodriguez. Like Ryan Nelson was like, you should win with Trevor Rogers on the bump and your best pitcher, but I really want to see a step further. I want to see you beat a left-hander who's notoriously killed the Orioles, right? That's what we've struggled with. And Kyle Bradish, who's been struggling. That's a game that I want them to kind of come out and win, get the sweep, or, take the rubber match if you somehow lose tonight. I want the offense to be right in that game because that's a game I'm fully – the way you feel about tonight, the 0 runs, 4 hits, I'm thinking that's going to be against Erod, in the matinee tomorrow. So we'll kind of see how that's going to go. But
I mean, you're seeing, a guy like that Henderson, Bassett, Cal. Oh, okay, Cal. They got Cows are in there. Okay. Yeah. Again, it's I like Albanese. I like how he's not messing with the lineup too much. That's one thing I want to get him credit for. So far in April. I mean, unless you think otherwise, he just doesn't feel like he's not trying to experiment. He's not trying to. Let's try this. Let's try that. Let's see if this works. Even when they were going through a slump, couple here and there, but he didn't. It wasn't really much that he was messing with. So I kind of like that. I really like that. I like that he didn't freak out. Let's try to back. Let's put Adley leading off and Gunnar batting fourth. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I like that about him.
And he's trusting lefties to face other lefties. I mean, that's what you need is you need your best players to come in. 100%. Hey, Dylan Beavers, if we want you to be Kyle Tucker, who you can't trade Dylan Beavers because he's going to be a stud. Well, then he's got to hit lefties in the major leagues, and he delivered. I believe the time that he did that, Gunnar, hitting missiles off of lefty relievers. So now you can't come in and have just a lefty who comes in and shuts us down, and you're pinch hitting Gunnar in the fifth for someone else. So I will say that but I also think obviously the manager in baseball makes a big difference, but if your talent's good and those guys are producing, you're going to look like a genius, right? Like, I mean, Torey Lovullo went to the World Series for the Diamondbacks, and they've been god awful. Is he a good manager, or the Diamondbacks catch lightning in a bottle, right? Like,
we could be here till midnight having those conversations. Yeah, right. Of managers who went to the World. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Well, cool, man. Well, we got 20 minutes till game time, but just plug your stuff again, man. We'll have to have you back on, but
I would love to come back on. I'll get you on this season too on the podcast. We'll talk baseball. I just love talking to Orioles with other Oriole fans. Like, I don't care who it is or where it's at. Let's talk. But yeah, Full Count Chaos. If you want to figure out everything, fullcountchaos.com. It's all there. Subscribe, prior episodes, other websites, all that good stuff. But there it is. Just Full Count Chaos, any app. Podcast, good stuff. But no, I had fun, man. This was good. Can't believe we've been going for already 40 minutes. So I just jumped on with you. I looked at the time. I'm like, damn.
Well, for your sake, I'm hoping that we have a nice, easy 2-0 win, so you don't have to jump out and hurt your ribs again or your obliques. So we might need you.
Yeah, a lot of ice packs I still need to put on my back here. I think I'm just gonna watch the game like lying down, and that way.
There you go.
I'll be good. But no, I had fun. I it's exciting. I'm glad we got to chat after that win because I think we're all kind of still have a little buzz going from that. That was fun.
Exactly. Well, make sure to check out Nathan and Full Count Chaos and Go Birds. And hopefully we'll be celebrating, maybe around the All-Star break, a first place baseball team. So thanks again, man.
Yeah, man. All right. Thanks. Appreciate it. Good stuff.